Peace, family. It's your boy Gerald. It is the 11th of December, 2021. How is everybody doing? So, you may hear some background noise. You may hear the birds chirping. You may be hearing the garbage truck coming around to do the morning collection. So, yesterday, as you already know, I'm always thinking, I had an epiphany um, reveal itself. He said, "What do you mean, Gerald?" Well, why is it as advanced as we are globally, opportunities to choose, seek, search whatever we desire, right? Why is it if we have the ability to do all those things, why do we not have the ability to admit what is wrong? Did you hear me? You have all these options at your fingertips to have access, even when it's on the level of economic diversity. But yet, in 2021, soon to close this door, we still have people that do not have the ability to say what they need by identifying what is wrong or found inept in them. Why? So, what am I alluding to, Gerald? We have so many outlets through social media, so many viewpoints being expressed, some strongly, some objectively, some optimistically, and some non biased. But the one commonality that we all see tied in together is this: the pursuit of happiness. What happiness looks like. How is it defined? What is the requirement? As well as what is needed to obtain it. And a lot of times it is blunt. Sometimes it is a little watered down. And sometimes it's been illustrated through a opaque or third person viewpoint. There is nothing wrong with that. Nothing. But a lot of times we see this play out. We see a lot of this. See a lot of this. I don't have fill in the blank because of that. But what a lot of times what people do not do is take ownership. They have energy and projection of said uh, item they disagree with or lack of. But why is it that even with those things that are being identified, there's no ownership? There's no energy put into after what is said, identified, fill in the blank. Why isn't there no investment there? Why isn't there no call emotionally that all your focus should be right there in that trajectory? Who am I talking to? Why is it that we will take the road that is convenient than the road less traveled? Why is it that people don't want to have that conversation? You know, the transparent ones, the ones that require and can yield clarity. Who am I talking to? So what ends up happening? Like a wound, the scab comes. It is required healing through time. But guess what? Depending on how deep that wound is, it is still very much visible. You can feel it. It is it is sensitive. Even though on the top there's just nothing but a scar. But if you move a certain way, feel a certain way, see something through reaction a certain way, that wound feels like as if it happened in real time. Who am I talking to? Why 7.3 billion people on this planet? No one is willing to address that. Oh, my bad. I have. And I've used my life as an example that yes, you too can change it. Because, see, as you always heard me say, as long as you take your breath, you still have opportunity to change it, change the trajectory. Just like you will hear people emphatically say, well, until you rock bottom, can you really understand how strong you really are? But what's the point of understanding your strength if you're not willing to stand up by surveying how to get out? How to truly identify what is present by identifying what is needed. Why? Prime example. It is easier for some people to save face because of what they are perceived than take 50% of that effort and invest. Who am I talking to? I put that video out the other day about you being the gift. And I've been echoing that sentiment for a long time because, yes, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and all the other, I'm having a brain dump for the Jewish celebration. The commonality is love, charity, compassion, empathy, agape. But we skip past that because there's no intrigue there. There's no drama. There's no sense of salaciousness. Why? Don't you know the most exciting story that you'll ever come to know is yours? Think about it. You are the romantic comedy. You are the intrigue. You are the drama. You are the hero. These are all parts of your identity when you decide to claim you back. But let's not misconstrue my point. Because you realize how many people are going to go into debt this month. Now, what you do with your finances is your business. And some people will opt to be strategic and start 4 months out, actually, if they have the means to do it. But let me throw this out here. After Christmas has come and gone, and New Year's comes and goes, what happens? January 1st, your bills are due. And that's going to be Christmas for the people you have debt with. And I would be remiss not to mention this too. For my college students, or those who have already gotten through that period of life and they have earned their degrees. If you have a student loan, they turn the switch back on. Yeah, those student loans go in effect 1 January. That deferment stops because of the pandemic. And some of y'all already know that. You've probably already gotten, you've already received emails letting you know that uh, Department of Education, NailNet, or whoever the provider is for your loan, they're letting you know that, hey, we go back in business after the first of the year. So that's another debt. Mortgage still got to get paid, rent still got to get paid, car notes got to get paid, basic utilities still got to get paid, credit cards got to get paid. The economic wheel is ready to start. So, what's my point, Gerald? Be mindful of your hard-earned money and who you're going to show for Christmas and bestow them a gift. I'm not saying it sound like a Grinch. I'm just bringing awareness because just as the younger generation or those who embrace the term cuffing season, these people are going to be ghosts after the holidays. Just like every holiday that comes around, just like Valentine's Day, you have people that come back from wherever they were to make their presence known long enough to get that said accolade of attention. I just want you to be mindful of this. It is no different than hearing from someone, and they say, hey, I'm in a pinch. I'm in a bind. Can you loan me some money? Because I'm in a jam. Now, emotionally, you would be like, yes, that's my friend. That's my companion, fill in the blank. But what would you what would you do or what would they do if they didn't have access to you? Do you think by chance that you are the end all be all? Now, some of us would like to believe that. But the truth of the matter, that's not true. I'm out here drinking my peppermint coffee. Peppermint mint. Yeah, peppermint coffee. And I thought about that because unfortunately the holidays is the season of the opportunist too. Because we teach people how we wish to be treated. And if you don't establish certain boundaries, some people that you have given access to your life are going to test them. They're going to see how far they can go. And do as less to reciprocate it back. That's for somebody. Because I think there's some manipulation going on in some of your lives. And just like a child, their strategy is I'm going to be on my best behavior because the intent is to get them to give me said fill in the blank. You know what that is. You are the gift. Don't you ever forget that. The greatest gift you could ever bestow on someone is access to your life. Do you realize how precious that is? Because what is being wagered or offered or bestowed is time. You know, that thing that we all take for granted because we think that, oh, I can do it tomorrow. I'll get it next week. But unfortunately, there are those family didn't wake up this morning for whatever reason. There are those that are not going to hear from said fill in the blank. That's why you may have heard this in relationship dialogue. You never go to sleep angry. If there's a question or discussion that is required that you deem, I'm not talking about being petty, I'm talking about understanding, that you deem important, you make sure you resolve that. Because what you don't want to do is have to bear with the reality of some people of this. What do you mean Charlie ain't here? Where is Charlie? What? He passed away. And then all those flooding of emotions come back of things that you should have said, things you should have done, things you should have made peace with. That becomes ghost, emotional ghost in your life. Regret. That's for somebody. And that is the reason why you see this a lot of times. That's why you see so many people that are condescending, pessimistic, bitter, walking around just in turmoil. You know why? Because more sooner than later, their epiphany will come. And everything that was bestowed to them when they had it, they're feeling a certain way. Because the worst criticism that you'll ever encounter is from yourself. That's why even in, no matter what your spiritual doctrine you follow, the one thing that has ever been true, no matter the interpretation, truth will set you free. That is why you always hear people say, what is done in the dark, that's right, comes to the light. Because it has to. That's energy. That's energy put out. Remember I used to always say, energy out is energy returned? It's gonna come back. When you least expect it. But the price will be the revelation, which is nothing but unequated truth. And the key is, will you be prepared for when it does? Because it's going to do that. Why am I saying this, Gerald? Because there are still people that are conveniently putting on social masks and taking social positions, and you're entitled to think and do as you wish. But the truth of the matter is, just like going to a masquerade ball, sooner or later you got to come back home to yourself. Because it's going to get weary on you. It's going to drain you. It's going to rob you. That's why you be hearing about people all of a sudden, such and such, they sick. Such and such passed away. I didn't know they were sick. Bah, 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 bah. From a medical standpoint, you're talking about the nervous system. If your mind's not right, your body's not going to be right. So if you're carrying a lot of burden around, that is like sending a bad reaction through your nervous system. It's like somebody taking a charge to you, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, And it eventually will have wear and tear on you. That's why you got so many people walking around with mental disorders. But you know how you fix disorder? You identify it so you can have order. So, that is why I will always bang the proverbial gong, because I'm going to tell you, some of y'all want love so much to the point it's sickening. And I say that in a good way. You see what Sarah got. You look at what Steve is doing. You admire what Tyrone and Tanya have accomplished. The end product, but nobody takes the time to say, is everything that is being projected authentic? Because as long as we are human beings, you're going to always have conflict. You're going to always have a challenge. You're going to always have a responsibility. But it starts with the person in the mirror that greets you every day, that knows your thoughts, and is waiting for you to claim your strength for so long. Why is it in 2021 it has been so evident how much we are socially divided? It seems like the last 3 years has been about Operation Division. If it wasn't for your economics, your social standings, even to the point there's dialogue and discussion about your physical makeup. Why? Why does it matter? And people are passionate about it. Just like, why have we allowed focus about discussion about our sexualities? You know who's important? That first of all, that's your business, unless you choose to discuss it. But that's still your life. That is still your reality. But it seems like, you know what you don't hear, what you won't see. The folks that have the proverbial pulse on what is deemed influenced, they keep their business to themselves. They tell you what you want. They tell you what they want you to know, not what you would like to know. And why? If we're talking about being transparent, put it all on the table. But a lot of people also know this. If they would do that, they would expose how truly vulnerable everyone truly is. But see, this thing called the algorithm, it is the social narrative or the pulse of mainstream. They know and they dread that if you decide to focus on yourself, that's one less set of eyeballs on what they do. If you decide to put investment on your health, that's one set of eyeballs on that distraction. They know that. They can't afford that. Why? Because you indirectly are supporting their agenda. Do you realize that? And that is why you go look on any type of social media, anything that's spoken in regards of respect, anything that has to do with personal empowerment, don't get picked up on the feed. It doesn't get supported. Why do you think that is? One, because a lot of people don't believe that is actually obtainable. You got to have some type of scandal, some type of disrespect, some type of intrigue to bring in the viewership. That's why you see so much discord and you see so many outlets talking about, well, you got to have this to have that. You got to do this if you want to have that. But you never hear people say, what do I need to do? Now that I know what's required, how am I going to strategize my personal direction? Why? If the end goal is total happiness, why don't we have dialogue about that? You realize how much focus would totally bankrupt social media if it was that way? Do you realize that? They know that. They know that, family. They know that. So, let me get off that tangent. I'm still going to do my end of year wrap up. That's coming. But, this is just a reminder to somebody. Be mindful on who you give access to. Focus on your transparency with yourself first. See, listen, it takes 24 hours to be you. Did you hear me? I know I got the light going. It takes 24 hours to be you. As you always hear, 8 hours is work. For some, 8 hours is sleep. That's 16 hours. Then you got 8 hours just to fill in everything that's required for your objective. Personally, when you eat, transportation time, and access. If there's no focus invested in you, your viewpoint will never change. And what you do not want to do, fam, is allowing your time to pass you by and end up, unfortunately, being like so many people, mad, frustrated, and usually they alienate themselves to a point because they feel that they've lost their voice. But really, the reality is they've lost time. Just make sure that every day that you have, let it be the best day you got. And even if that means right now, you got to be by yourself, if that's required. Let me tell you what, you can't go in any retail, online establishment and purchase peace of mind. That's priceless. But none of that matters if you don't see your value and self-worth first. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'd love to hear from you. But as I always say, place the Most High first in everything that you do because He's praying over you. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Be blessed, family.